You're listening to the Astromommy Daily Horoscope, a forecast that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in the Astromommy community. I hope you enjoyed today's horoscope and card reading. If you would like to support the Astromommy newsletter, there are several ways to do so. Subscribe on Substack, share it with a friend, schedule a reading, check out my family's Etsy shop, Metaphysical Flamingo, or just leave a tip. Without further ado, here is the Daily Horoscope. Hey everybody, Astromommy here. So today we're going to do a special video of the upcoming Mercury Retrograde. I'm going to let this car drive by. So I am sitting outside. My kids are playing in the background and I just wanted to do something different. Yesterday's eclipse post took me 9 hours to write, and sitting at the computer for that long, well, it was actually to write and then also to record and edit and just the whole process. I don't know, it just took me a long time. Sitting down at the computer, you know, that can do give you a little crink in the neck. So I've got a crink in the neck. So today we're gonna do something different, and we're not gonna be writing. I'm going to just talk to you guys about the Mercury retrograde. I've got my notes here so that we can do kind of a little mini horoscope for each sun or rising sign for the Mercury retrograde in Taurus, which is starting tomorrow, Friday, April 21st, 2023, and it's going until May 14th, 2023. Did you just see that? If you are watching on YouTube, you'll see that there was an ant that just walked by. That's because I have my phone propped into a tree because I could not find my tripod. So this is like seriously spontaneous, and it's hilarious that I'm trying to do this when Mercury is about to go retrograde, and Mercury retrograde means, you know, many different things, but some of them are delays or, you know, mishaps with technology. And so it's just kind of hilarious to me that even though I know that this is Mercury retrograde, this is a Mercury retrograde video, I'm still trying to do something that involves technology on a whim, which is, you know, we'll see how this goes. We'll see if I can get this edited and uploaded on time and all of those good things. Also, I got a new deck, a new tarot deck called the Rider-Waite Tarot, and so I'm going to be pulling a card for Friday from my new deck. So I'm pretty excited to do that as well. All right, so Mercury is the planet of communication, intellect, the mind, commerce, the marketplace, rules travel, projects, the environment. So Mercury, when it goes retrograde, it's a time when we're rethinking, revising, and reworking things in our lives. So what is a retrograde planet? So a retrograde planet simply means that the planet appears to be moving backwards from our perspective. It doesn't actually happen out in space, but it's just from our perspective. It appears to be moving backwards. Okay, so a couple of things that are interesting about this Mercury retrograde is that Mercury will be stationing at 15 degrees 37 minutes of Taurus. That's about 2 degrees or a little less than 2 degrees from Uranus, which is also in Taurus. So this Mercury retrograde has a Uranian feel to it. Okay, so besides Uranus throwing us a bit of a curveball, a sudden change, a sudden upheaval, or sudden disruption that could be happening with this Mercury retrograde, but what I find is interesting is that Mercury is almost going to conjoin Uranus, and then it's going to turn retrograde. So there's going to be something shocking or sudden that actually sort of is the catalyst to the revision or rethinking or reworking of something. So, and then I'm curious to see what will happen once Mercury goes direct and then finally does conjoin Uranus later on. So that'll be interesting. Now, Mercury is in the sign of Taurus, which is a Venus-ruled sign. And so Venus has an underlying influence on this retrograde. Taurus is a fixed earth sign, so it's going to be stable, secure, enduring. It wants to do earthy things, and it's going to be, you know, focused on the Taurus things like the essentials, food, water, shelter, feeling good, making good memories, building things, creating things, and nurturing things for the long haul, things that are sustainable. So there's going to be something about this Mercury that is sort of a slower process, where we're going to be reworking, revising things that are part of the basics, part of the essentials to life, to living a good life. So that also includes things, materialistic things like your home or money or your car or your career, like things that you need to survive, that are that build the wealth of your life, not just material, financial wealth, but give you a well-rounded, happy life, right? Thank you. So with the dispositor Venus being in the sign of Gemini, this is where we're going to be thinking a lot about these things. And collecting data for how we can sort of assimilate and integrate these things into our life. Another interesting part of it is that right before Mercury stations retrograde, the moon conjoins Mercury. So this has a very lunar feel. Like I said before, it has a Venusian feel because the dispositor of Taurus is Venus. And it has a Uranian feel because it's almost conjoining Uranus, but the moon is conjoining Mercury. And so this means that there's going to be, there could be lunar themes that come up during this retrograde. So, and it also could mean that this Mercury retrograde has a very personal feel to all of us, where maybe normally you don't even notice Mercury retrogrades and you're like, what is all the hype? But with this one, with the moon conjoined Mercury, it's going to have a very personal feel to it. And so lunar themes might be things like things coming to be and passing away. It could represent money, marriage, the mother, children. It could represent your popularity or friendships. It could represent any sort of female figure in your life that's important. It could also represent things like habits, routines, rituals that you do, especially things that are around your body rituals, like your regular routine that you have with your body and your health. So that could be eating, it could be, hygiene or whatever. And it also could have Venusian topics, so that could bring in beauty and appearance and pleasures of all sorts, right? Sensualities and whatnot. So this is a very rich Mercury retrograde that has a lot of facets to it that support all of these different sort of sides to it. It's very interesting. All right, so that's some of the underlying types of themes that are going to be coming up. But I'm going to go through the sun or rising signs, and I'm just going to tell you the house that this retrograde is happening in. And so this is going to be a revision, a rethinking, a reworking, going back to the drawing board, and it could feel sudden in those topics of your life. This will make the most sense if you listen to your rising sign. So Aries, this Mercury retrograde in Taurus will be happening in your second house of possessions and money. So this could be a reworking, a rethinking, a revision on how you spend or how you save money. And it could also, the second house also has to do with skill acquisition. So this could also be some sort of reworking of the skills that you have, or revising the skills that you need for something like that to generate income, something like that. Taurus, this Mercury retrograde is going to be happening in your first house of Taurus, of self, health, well-being, your personality, your identity, also your appearance. So there could be some sort of like revision on your appearance, your personality, or how you identify with yourself and how you feel authentically true to yourself. Gemini, this Mercury retrograde will be happening in your 12th house of self-undoing, isolation, confinement, spirituality, and sort of the hidden programs that are always running that create massive opportunity for personal growth. So Mercury retrograde in your 12th house is going to be sort of instigating with Uranus there some sort of sudden shift in some sort of internal process that you're going through, or feeling like you need be by yourself more, or some sort of solitude, period of solitude. or how you connect with your spirituality. Like some of those things might be coming up. It also could be kind of hidden. You don't, this particular Mercury retrograde could be doing things on a subconscious level that you can't really see in the light until Mercury goes direct and then enters your first house when it goes into Gemini. So super fun. All right, Cancer. Mercury retrograde will be happening in your 11th house of friends, allies, groups, networks, also money from your career, as well as hopes and wishes. So this could be a revision, a reworking, a rethinking, or a reversal in your friend groups, your allies, the groups that you network with. There could be something where you're going back to the drawing board and figuring something out. Or if you're talking about, if this has to do with money from your career, this could be like revising or reworking or negotiating some sort of terms of your employment, something like that. Leo, the Mercury retrograde in Taurus will be happening in your 10th house of career, your public recognition, what you do every day, your praxis, as well as your mother. So Leo risings, you're going to be experiencing some sort of revision with your career or some sort of reversal with your career, or what it is that, is your job that you are doing on a daily basis. So you're going to be doing reworking, revising, or changing that up a bit. Virgo, this Mercury retrograde in Taurus will be happening in your 9th house of belief systems, religion, travel, and higher education. So this could be a time when you are rethinking something that you believe, or a religious doctrine or ideology. You're revising, or maybe you're reversing something that you believe. It could also mean that you are rethinking your higher education goals, or maybe you're reworking some sort of travel plans, or there's a snafu that happens with a travel plan. So, be aware that when Mercury's retrograde in your 9th house, it's not necessarily the best time to go on long trips, because there will be delays, there could be mishaps, there could be, setbacks that, create strife in your travel plans. Libra, Mercury retrograde will be happening in your 8th house of shared finances, debts, death, other people's money, as well as assets and investments. So this is going to be where you are rethinking, reworking, revising, possibly reversing sort of the dynamic between how you share resources with others, especially your spouse or your partners. This also could mean, that there's investments or assets that you have to renegotiate or rework in some way. So that's what's going to be going on for you. Scorpio rising sun or rising sign, Mercury retrograde in Taurus will be in your 7th house of legal committed partnerships, romantic relationships, enemies, open enemies, and legal contracts. So this could be a time when you are having to go back to the drawing board, or you're having to rethink how you communicate with a partner, or revise or make changes to that. It could also mean in terms of legal contracts that maybe you have to go back and rewrite something in order to include certain, language or something like that. So there's going to be like a revision of legal contracts, or a reworking or rethinking or reversing a communication, a way that you communicate with a significant other. Okay. All right. Sagittarius, Mercury retrograde in Taurus will be happening in your 6th house of health issues, stress, service to others, as well as pets smaller than a goat. So this could be a time where you're revising something about your health, you're reworking something about your health. Maybe you're changing your diet, or you're taking something out, or going back to an old diet that you used to do that worked better than what you're doing now. Or it could also be an exercise routine, or a particular health routine that you do, or some sort of habit that you do that takes care of yourself in some way. So there could be a revision of that. You could also be doing something with your pets, like maybe you have to, rework some sort of situation with your pets. It could also be that you're reworking or going back to the drawing board with how you show up for others, how you support them, and what you do for them, like physically on a daily basis. So there could be some sort of reworking of that. There could also be, setbacks or delays that are created by pets, or that come from some sort of health issue, or maybe feeling burnt out in some energetic way. Capricorn, this Mercury retrograde will be happening in your 5th house of pleasures, children, pregnancy, recreational activities, and dating and pleasures, anything that you do for fun. So it's also the house of creative expression. So you could be like going back to the drawing board and figuring out something that you want to create or a project that you want to do. You could be you know, doing a revision on a project, or if it has to do with children or family, it could be something that you are changing in the environment, or maybe you're doing something different to change things up for what you do as a family, for like family fun night or something like that. Could also be like date night revisions, you know, like what you're doing for, you know, for your romance or your dating, where you're changing things up. Maybe you're doing something different, or you decide that, you know, you want to do a different type of date night or a different scenario or something. So there could be a lot of, you know, changes and revisions with that. You could also experience setbacks, delays, or mishaps in the area of children, creative expression, as well as recreational activities. Aquarius. The Mercury retrograde in Taurus will be happening in your 4th house of family, home, roots, and the father in traditional astrology. And it's also the things that are subterranean and sort of hidden underneath, and as well as our ancestry, and it's also the place of endings. So there could be some sort of revision or reversal in something that has to do with family roots or a family dynamic. Maybe you have to go back and change, you know, maybe you decide that you're going to do some sort of renovation to your home, because the 4th house has to do with homes and foundations. Maybe you decide that you want to change something up in how you communicate with your family members. That could come up during this Mercury retrograde. It could also be what things in your environment you feel are foundational and support you and are essential to your well-being. So this could be like, you know, the aesthetics of your home, the foundation of your home, the way you organize it. It could also be things like what you eat, what you put in your body, how you exercise, your health, you know, the foundational things too that are really important. So your house, home, food, all of those things, and family, the whole family dynamic. All right. Pisces, Mercury retrograde will be happening in Taurus in your 3rd house of siblings, community, neighbors, communication, your message, as well as mental processes. And it's also the joy of the moon. And so this could also have to do with daily routine, your daily habits, your daily route, things that you do that are lunar in nature in terms of, you know, what you put into your body, what you put out of your body, what you put into your mind, what comes out of your mind. So this is, you know, has that sort of tidal sort of flow to it, this house. So this could be a place where you are reworking, communicating with your siblings, with your neighbors, with your community members. This could be where you're revising your daily routine, your daily route. You could also get a new car or have some sort of, you know, change happen in your transportation. This could also be a mishap or a delay, or, you know, your car needs repairs. So some sort of disruption in how you get about your daily route, like how you actually move about your day, either on the bus, by train, by bicycle, or by automobile, or if you do a lot of flying, even by plane. So it's just how you transport, you know, throughout the day. So there could be something where you have to rework or revise how you do that, because there's delays, disruptions, or mishaps going on. So that's a big one for the 3rd house. And also, like I said before, just habits. So your lunar habits, this is going to have a lot to do with your daily routine and your daily route. That's what I'm getting for the 3rd house for Pisces. Also, this could be another thing. This could have to do with paperwork and things that you have to file or sign or rework, some sort of scheduling or something to do with your communication and your paperwork and getting your message out there, or writing. You know, the 3rd house has a lot to do with communication and writing. And so this could have something to do with where you are revising how you're putting yourself out there with the written word. So however you're doing that, something might happen or change with that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed those quick little Mercury retrograde horoscopes for each sign. Now I'd like to pick a card for Friday's overall theme, the guidance for Friday, and see what the cards have to say for us for that. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle, and very excited about using my new deck. We're going to see what is the guidance for Friday. What is the guidance for Friday? Mercury retrograde. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. We have the Nine of Swords in reversed. Okay, so I think this is actually really, really great. So the Nine of Swords upright means that we're having lots of heavy thoughts that are weighing us down, and we're in a state of fear and anxiety, and we're having some negative self-talk going on. But in the reversal, it means that it's time to pay attention to those fears and anxieties and that negative self-talk and reverse it. What can you say to yourself that's positive? How can you help yourself in a positive way? You know, reverse those negative thought patterns and turn them into a positive thought form, a positive thought pattern. So this is about having positive self-talk, you know, letting go of the fears and anxiety, and, you know, trusting the universe that, you know, the universe has got you. You are held in divine light, and, you know, the universe is supporting you as you go along. So what's really interesting with this Mercury retrograde is that it's obviously correlating with the eclipse season, and it started off, you know, we had the hybrid solar eclipse on Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then Mercury goes retrograde on Friday, right? And then we have the lunar eclipse, which is going to be on May 5th. Here comes the truck. Okay, so as I was saying, now that the trucks have gone by, as I was saying, the Mercury retrograde ends on May 14th, and we have our lunar eclipse on May 5th. So this Mercury retrograde is really sort of carrying us through the eclipse, and I feel like this is sort of like whatever whatever big changes are happening in the eclipse, and whatever fears and anxieties are coming up surrounding this eclipse, Mercury retrograde is going to help you get back to the basics and the essentials, the things that you need to build a solid foundation, all of those Taurus fixed earth things, like, you know, solid food, good house and home, you know, and, you know, a good family environment. Those things are going to be revised and reworked and reflected upon during this Mercury retrograde. And I feel like it's an indication that although there could be upheaval, there could be disruptions, there could be things that come out of the blue with the Uranian twist that this Mercury retrograde has, ultimately, this is a period of, you know, where we're going to feel more supported at the end of it. We've got this exalted moon. The moon is exalted in Taurus, so we have this exalted moon that starts with this retrograde. And so there is this feeling of benefit and fortune that comes along with this retrograde that kind of is another underlying factor. So I feel like this card is really positive in that it means that it's time to turn your thinking around. It's time to think positively, practice positive self-talk. Don't give in to your fears. Turn them around. Like literally when you have a negative thought in your head, think to yourself, okay, what would that thought sound like if it was a positive thought? How can I actually speak kindly to myself and say something positive and uplifting and supportive? So that's the message for Friday. That's the message for Friday. I hope you enjoyed this video instead of a post. I'll be back to posting for Saturday, so I'll see you guys then. Until Saturday, Astro Mummy.
Thank you for reading or listening to the Daily Horoscope. Quick links and resources can be found at the bottom of the newsletter. If you seek knowledge and enlightenment, the Astronomy newsletter may be right for you. Side effects of reading or listening to the Astronomy newsletter are common and include joy, jubilation, delight, happiness, gratitude, love, triumph, feeling in tune with the universe, experiencing deep insights, reflections, and contemplations, a lightened soul, a lighter step, feeling awake when others are asleep, illuminated, enlightened, having spiritual experiences, noticing repeating numbers, animals in nature, or songs on the radio that speak to you, getting vibes, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsmelliance, feeling like you know secret language, biophilia, crying tears of joy, emotional literacy, feeling lively, stable, exalted, having an auric glow, or feeling like you woke up on the right side of the bed have all been reported. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a very small commission. Thanks for listening.